Mmusi Maimane addresses thousands of DA supporters gathered at Soweto's Dobsonville Stadium in the party's final election rally ahead of May 8 elections. Residents and community activists from the south of Durban call on government to disallow trucks from operating in residential areas. And in your sports news, Mamelodi Sundowns will face Moroccan giants Wydad Casablanca in the second leg of their CAF Champions League semi-finals at the Lucas Morepe Stadium this afternoon. Good afternoon, you're watching On Point. My name is Nzinga Kunda. DA leader Mmusi Maimane says if voted into power during next week's elections, he will set the country back on a growth path. He was addressing a packed Soweto Dobsonville Stadium during his party's final election rally dubbed Dipetejo. Central to its campaign, the official opposition wants to end corruption.
We have a choice. This is that moment. We can either choose 5 more years of corruption and empty promises, or we can choose change. I don't know about you, but I'm choosing change. I'm here to tell you that I'm making a choice between yesterday and tomorrow. I'm here to pick a future where every person in this country will know what freedom looks like. I'm here to tell you only the DA can put a job in every home so that our people know what the dignity of a job is. Because when you have a job, you can put food on the table. You can choose where your kid's gonna go. And I'm here to say, the only way we can make this choice is if we bring about change. And I don't know about you, I am choosing change. Amandla! We need change. And we need it now. But fellow South Africans, I'm here to tell you, here's the thing about change. Change is never easy. Sometimes it feels uncomfortable. Sometimes it can be scary. Change requires that we leave behind everything we've become used to and step into a place we've never been before and step into a road less traveled. And I am here to tell you that this is that moment. We are told that those who want power that we must fear change. Because if things change, it will paralyze our country. They lie to people, they say coalitions don't work. They say we mustn't trust each other because we are from different races or religion. They say the problem with this country is that race or that race. They want us to fear each other so that they keep things as they are. But I want to tell you, fellow South Africans, we are not listening to them. We are rejecting that.
UDM leader General Bantu Olomisa says the party is willing to enter into coalitions because a one-party state breeds corruption.
Today was to tell the people of South Africa that come the 8th of May, after that, both the government and the private sector and the key society groupings, we need to converge under one roof and say what kind of program are we going to come up with. That is the role which government should do. Government is not going to create jobs on her own. We need the role of the private sector. We need also the role of the unions, and we also need the role of the investors. Right now, everybody is confused as to what is taking place in this country. This country's constitution is promoting checks and balances through a multi-party democracy system. How I wish that at national level there would be a coalition government so that we can guard each other. We will only talk about issue of coalition governments once the results are announced, so it's too early to talk about coalitions now. But what one wishes is that the people of South Africa should stop putting all their eggs in one basket, because one-party dominance breeds corruption.
Our reporter Busisiwe Jemsana Mandashe is at the UDM rally. Busisiwe, tell us what's happening.
Well, good afternoon, Zinga. We are coming to you from Khutsong Stadium, where DA supporters are just now having fun and just dancing to the music. This after they listened to the UDM leader Bantu Holomisa addressing them. In his speech, he spoke more about corruption and what his party has done to try and uproot corruption. How, in some instances, they would be the one who would be protesting against corruption and going to court, the Constitutional Court, to fight against the corruption that he alleges is being done by the ANC, and urging voters not to vote for the ANC and give the UDM a chance to govern this country. But let's speak to the supporters to hear what they make of what their leader has spoken about, that UDM leader Bantu Holomisa spoke about corruption. What is it that he said that you think gives you hope in his party?
What we actually learned from the president, Bantu Holomisa, when he was talking to us, he actually encouraged us as the members of the UDM to look at what the freedom gains have been reversed by the ANC, which has actually taken our word and given it to other people. For instance, he actually talked about the Bosasas, and he actually looked at the people like the Guptas who came up and took up our wealth and took it away. And he actually looked at what we were doing as citizens of the country. We were paying VAT tax, which we were paying through buying everything from the shops. But in actual sense, we're getting nothing out of that thing. Then in actual sense, that's what I got from Bantu Holomisa. In real sense, what we were saying as the citizens, it's like we were saying that he actually emphasized that the one-party democracy is not enough for everybody, because in actual sense, it gave those people to relax and think that they took everything for granted. So that for us to air our grievances and to say, no, we're not happy about certain things, we should go to the multi-party democracy. The multi-party democracy is a situation whereby everybody can go out and air out his views and say, we're not happy about the system of the government, which is right here.
Thank you so much. Well, speaking about the multi-party government, is something that a UDM leader emphasized on, saying that it is time for a multi-party government and that the dominance of one party is not good for the country. We are coming to you from Carltonville. This is an area where there are many mines around. Most of the people here work in mines, and he touched on that, something that some of the people we spoke to enjoyed and loved, and actually saying that they are going to vote for the party exactly because of that, because mine workers are not being given the money that they deserve. But let's talk to more of them, and many of the people who are here are youth. As the young person, in what the UDM leader spoke about, especially when about job creation, do you think the UDM is the party that will create jobs?
Yiyo siswami kakhulu futhi i-UDM nje masingayibeka endaweni yayo yiyo sikhupha amaqoqi sifuna amaqoqi kodwa masingathatha ugeneral simbeke endaweni imisebenzi soyifumana
yeyiphi le nto ayithethileyo ikwenze wabona uba nyani imisebenzi nisayifumana
yile ayithethileyo phakathi siswami kutyiwa imali zabantu phane and then ezibekumele bazinceda thina abantu bekumele siyaqhubeka sisebenze sithini bona benzani bayazitya basityelani imindeni yabo sisheke thina sifundile sigqibile kodwa kunzima ukuthi siphangele why kumele kube njalo.
Well, saying there that he has hope that the UDM will actually produce jobs, saying that when UDM leaders spoke about how monies are being looted and how young people are not getting employed, she gained hope that he is the person that will deliver this country to that promised land. Well, those are some of the views of the people who were listening in when the UDM leader Bantu Olomisa was addressing them in Zinga, talking about how they should go out and vote for the UDM. I can tell you now, it has not been an easy campaign for the UDM starting in February up until now, because they've had some financial constraints with not having enough funds to stretch their campaign, but they are hopeful that with the little that they've done, they will be able to gain more support and increase their seats in parliament. It remains to be seen if the work that they have done since February up until now will bear fruit after the May general elections. Zinga.
Busisiwe Jimsana Mantashe giving us an update from that UDM final rally there. Let's stay with election news. COPE Deputy President Willie Madisha says the lives of poor black South Africans will not improve under the current government. Madisha was on the campaign trail in Blood River outside Seshego in Limpopo.
What we are looking at is not actually just doing well, but to make sure that we help the people of our country. What we have seen here in Blood River, it's the microcosm really of the very serious problems that are there in South Africa. But then the people here, as we have seen, don't have any place to sleep, don't have anything to eat, they don't have any jobs altogether. Their children are not going to school, they're just lying all over, they don't have houses. These are very serious problems, and COPE is there to make sure that they survive.
Right, let's get more reaction on today's DA rally. I'm joined in studio by leadership expert Dr Mazwe Majola. Thanks so much for your time on SABC News. When I was listening to that speech, I kept on hearing Mmusi Maimane talking about a job in every home. It brings to mind that Republican push in the early 1920s, where they said there will be a chicken in every pot and a garage in every car in every garage rather, which led to a landslide victory for President Hoover. Could we see that kind of reaction here with that job in every home?
Well, he will do everything in his power. Remember, this is his last salvo. This is his last push. He must try his utmost best to attract those undecided voters to vote for the DA. He has been facing a lot of criticism in terms of his leadership style. Many people think that he has been a very weak leader. People feeling that he has failed to grow the organization. Remember when during Tony Leon's time, I think around 2004, Tony Leon registered about 10% voting, national vote in 2004. And then Tony Leon was succeeded by Helen Zille. Zille really grew the organization, because in 2009 the DA received 16%, and from 16% she took it to 22% in 2014. So that is the part when the DA really grew a lot. So this is his maiden election, Maimane. So the question is, will he be able to grow the party from 22%, or will he be the first leader of the DA to really decrease or not to grow the party during the election time?
What seems to be an albatross around the neck of the DA is the issue of racial dynamics within the party. Maimane seeming to address that today when he said that people shouldn't vote based on their race or what their culture is, but they should look at the DA and say, this is a party that is able to govern, that has a good track record. Should people be convinced by that?
DA is a very complex organization, and then again, notwithstanding whatever criticism leveled against Maimane, I think he has tried his utmost best leading that organization. Here is a young black leader taking over an organization that has been lily white. I mean, he's taking over. The white people are going to resist him because are going to say, we want to see what is he going to say or to do. The black people are going to insult him, criticize him, calling him a sellout because now he's taking over what we call a hitherto a white oriented organization. So he has tried his utmost best to deal with that race card within the organization. However, unfortunately, that has been his Achilles' heels, because till today, the organization has been tormented by this race card within the organization.
One of the issues that South Africa is seized with is this high unemployment rate, particularly in the youth. I know we're sitting about 27.1% for unemployment, but people are saying it's as much as 50% for youth. He's proposed that there is a civilian service where there's a year where young people go and get internships and get work experience. How different is that to the current youth employment solution that President Cyril Ramaphosa has implemented? And would that kind of a solution convince young people watching that perhaps the DA is the right party to go for versus the ANC or any of the other parties contesting?
Well, not much different. It's what I've been arguing, really, to say, when you look at all these different parties, because South Africa is faced with more or less the same challenges. So all of them, they will be tackling those challenges, of course, yes, using different wording or formulas or strategies, but still talking to the same thing. So ANC will talk about the same thing, EFF, the DA and others, and then they'll just differ from modalities that will do it in this way, or we don't want to use this one, we'll use this one. So I've been saying that, yes, in terms of policies, it's very important for parties to push for voting to vote for them. But I've been saying that, especially for this last push now, that people are going to be attracted by the charismatic and the transformational, inspirational leadership style from leaders. How are they going to move people? How are they going to attract people? How is the leader going to talk in such a way that someone who's sitting down who does not know who to vote for, who will say, aha, you know that aha moment. Someone who might say, yes, man, this is what I've been waiting for. Even though a leader may be saying the same thing as another leader saying, but it's because of the ways he's saying it. So that's why charismatic is very, very important. Or charismatic leadership and inspirational leadership is very important, because it attracts people, it moves people, it makes someone to say, this is where I'm going for. So that's what is going to separate leaders from non-leaders.
We're seeing a lot of rallies taking place today. The UDM is having a rally. The APC is having a rally. General Bantu Olomisa saying that South Africans should trust their party because the ANC is going to remain much of the same. Corruption is going to continue flourishing. And the APC, Themba Godi, saying very similar things. How do you pick out in terms of who to vote for? I know you've spoken about leadership style, but what should people who are undecided perhaps look out for besides that leadership style that you've spoken about?
Of course, as it will be leadership, the kind of a leader that I'm going to follow, it will be the qualities of the leader, because remember, people follow leaders, and people follow managers, and when people leave organization, people leave people, or other people leave leaders or managers, not organizations. There might be very few, someone even in the workplace, very few people or some people who would say that I've left that organization because I felt I've plateaued, I was not growing anymore. I wanted other opportunities. I worked very well there. I loved that organization, but it was just because I was not growing. But mostly, people will be saying, I love that organization, but that manager, I love that organization, but that leader is the one who really makes me. That is why once that leader is gone, you find that someone or a person may go back to where he was working for. So people, there will be they'll be looking for leaders who appeals to them. Yes, policies are important because they want to know what this person is going to do for me. Bantu Holomisa, unfortunately, he has not been doing very well, really. He's the first organization post-94 who left the ANC. And then till today, he's struggling to grow his organization. In 2009, UDM received, I think, 0.8%. And then in 2014, they only received 1% of the national vote. So you can see that they are struggling when it comes to growth. Although he has been doing very well in terms of clamping down corruption. UDM has been the paragon of real morality leadership. He has been the one who's very vociferous when it comes to corruption. But for whatever reason, he seemed not to be attracting people. APC as well has not been doing well. Themba Goti as a person, he's doing well in Parliament in the era where he is, I think he's the chairperson, Scopa, yes, it's the Scopa. But in terms of nationally getting people has been struggling to get. For this year, they are going to face or be confronted with the huge challenges because there are so many other small parties that are emerging. So how are they going to make sure that really they compete or contest with those? Because people, they want to, I mean, there's a lot of the main is so big now for people to choose from in terms of who to vote. So those small parties are going to have a huge problem this year.
Obviously, people need to look at each party's manifesto and decide based on those issues who to vote for. Often, a lot of the time, sentiment plays a role in deciding who people decide to vote for. We've a very contested space. 25 years into democracy, how much does that sentiment still play a role?
You see, and this has been, I've been arguing about this, and really people must, and I hope they'll understand me. I won't be misunderstood or be misunderstood. I'm not undermining the level of literacy or reading of people, from people's reading. However, I'm just asking, how many people really out there who are reading those policies or those manifestos? You and I'm a journalist, academics, analysts, those are people who read, researchers read, and then they make sure what this say, what this part. But people out there, especially those people that they are addressing there. How many people say, I've got a manifesto here of ANC, I've got a manifesto of EFF, manifesto, okay, I've seen what the ANC is saying, very few people who have that, especially the masses. The people who will be voting. Again, it boils back to what I've been saying. The kind of leaders who will now be translating those or rather translating those manifestos, what is written in the manifesto, to people's hearts and to people's minds, so that people can say that this is the organization I'm going to be voting for. So the manifestos are very important and policies are very important, but the deliverance is very, very important from leaders, as now they are going around and telling people the consistency, the reliability, the dependability. So what people will be saying, can I depend on this organization or on this leader? Is this leader trustworthy? Can he say what he say he will be doing, or can he do what he say he will be doing? So those are things people will be looking for. Of course, yes, they want to know how are they going to address unemployment, corruption, and all other areas, but they want to know what the leaders and the organizations are saying.
Thanks so much for your time on SABC News. Dr Mazwe Majola speaking to us there about that DA campaign, as well as the UDM, APC and other issues around voting on May 8th. It's time for a short break. I'll have more news for you when we come back. Do stay with us on Point.